Hey guys, so today I want to discuss about work parties. Okay, so what is a work party? Work party means any person or organization who is interested in the progress of the case and who want to receive emails about the progress of the case. Okay, so those people or those organizations are called as work parties. So why do you need a work party? Without a work party, you can't actually send emails to the interested parties. So you can only send emails to the originator of the case. Okay. But if there is someone who is interested in the progress of the case, and if that person is not the originator of the case, you cannot send emails to him. So, I mean, emails about the case progress and the case updates. When the case reaches a certain stage, or when there is a certain milestone that has happened. You just want to send an update or a communication. You can do that only when you have a work party or a party attached to your case, stating that this is a work party and these people or organizations are interested in the progress of the case. Only then you can send emails to them. So let me give you an example, like when do we use work parties in real time? So let's take, for example, this is an insurance application and there's a person who met with an accident, okay, and claimed for insurance. Now, the person who met with an accident may be a minor. So the person is below 18 years of age and or can be a person who is physically, disabled or mentally disabled. Okay. So what you want to do is they have some guardian, or some elderly person who takes care of them. And although the case is running on this person, okay, but the guardian is or the parent is more interested about the case updates because they take care of him. Okay, so it maybe if the insurance is approved or maybe it's rejected or maybe you're asking for some documents for validation, whatever it is. So these updates you want to send to a third party person who is not the actual case originator or not the actual person who is involved in the incident. You want to send it to somebody. So those people, we call them as work parties, or it can even be an organization. We treat them as work parties. So you add them as a work party in your case, in your work object, so that when something critical happens, something important happens, and you want to send an email communication, or any kind of update to them, you just keep updating them. So this is the scenario where we use work parties, like a minor or can be not always this one. It can even be something like maybe uh, the case is an insurance case. Yeah, the guy is above 18 years of age, but still there is some other organization, which is interested in the case updates. Maybe this is an insurance case, and maybe there's a case which is running in the court. There's a legal case, and the lawyer is interested in the case updates because based on this insurance, he has something to speak in the court. So maybe you can add the lawyer or the team of court members, you can just add them as a work party. So in various situations, you add different people or different organizations or work parties just because they're interested in the case updates and just because you want to send emails to them and you want to tell them about the case progress. Okay. So that is why we add work parties and those people are called as work parties. Now, when do you create a work party and how do you configure a work party? Let me talk about some OOTV work party classes before I tell you like when and how we configure them. So just like you have work class, data class, int class, rule class, and the various OOTV classes which you keep using in your day-to-day life, right? Similarly, for work parties, there are some OOTV classes which inherit from data dash party dash. Okay, so there are 5 default classes: data party com, gov, org, operator, and person. So why do you use OOTP classes? Because there is something inbuilt inside them and you want to reuse them. That is the reason we always use OOTP classes. Similarly, when you work with work parties, depending upon the party type, you need to change the OOTP class and you need to inherit from that. because there is something reusable lying in that class, and you can make use of them when you're dealing with your work parties. So when to choose which class? So if you're dealing with an organization, okay, which has a web domain ending with .com, you can choose this class. If it's a government organization, take GOV. If it's an organization which web domain has .org, take this. If he is an operator means just an individual person, but this guy can log in into PRPC, which means like in the current example, as I told you, if a person met with an injury or an accident and this guy is a minor and he has some guardian, okay, assume that this guardian can also log in into PRPC, then it can be an operator. If this guardian cannot log in into PRPC, then this guy is a person. Okay, so if he has access to the Pega application, you call him as an operator. If he doesn't have access, you call him as a person. So depending upon your requirement, you can choose any of your classes and you can create the work parties under them. Now, how can you create a work party? Are there any OOTB rules created for work party? Okay, and how do you configure them? Yes, there is an OOTB rule which is created whenever you create a case type rule in Pega. Let me open my application. This is a small ticket booking application, which I call it as Go IVBO. Okay, so through this you can book a train, bus or flight. Okay, now whenever you create a new case type rule in PRPC, this is my case type rule. Okay, whenever you create a case type rule, Pega creates a default work party rule for you. Let me open that. Go to App Explorer, go to your class, okay, process. You see something called as work parties? Yes, there is a OOTB work party rule created which is called as PY case management default. Okay. Look at the top. This is a work party rule. So inside this you can define as many parties as you want. Maybe your project has like two different types of parties. One is a lawyer, the other one is a customer. Okay, you can define both the parties here. So you can define the party and XYZ information about the party here. Now, where is this rule being triggered from? How is Pega triggering this? This is being triggered from your flow PY start case. You start a flow PY start case. So in the PY start case flow under the process tab, if you scroll down, you'll see something called as work parties, and this is the place from which where your work party rule is being triggered. Okay. Now, what if I want to create a new work party in my project? How can I configure it? It's quite simple, very easy. Just listen. Now, suppose I want to create a new work party. What you can do is, there are two ways. Either you just open your case management rule, work party rule, PY case management default, and add the details here. Or there's another easy way. Go to the settings tab of your case type rule. Say participants, it's nothing but the work parties. Yeah, I just created one and I deleted it. Now I'm going to add a new party. So let me say this is like a lawyer. Okay. And now decide from which class do you want to inherit. Let me say is a data dash party dash person class. Now a data transform to capture the information. So why are you capturing work parties? Why are you having work parties? Just because you want to send some mails to him. As you want to send email to him, don't you want to capture his mail ID, his phone number, his first name, last name, his address kind of information? Yes, of course you need that information, right? So in order to capture that information, you're going to write down a data transform where you're just going to collect this information. That's it. So let me name it as capture lawyer work party info and click on create. Now it is going to be created in the person class. Okay, it's another person class. So what are information you want to capture from him? Just start capturing. Just do a down arrow and just say PY. You have address, city, company, email, first name, full name, home city, country, whatever you want, just capture. So I think I need full name, and I need email, and I want phone number. Just based on your requirement, okay, take whatever you want. Now, where are you going to get this information from? Maybe somewhere in the UI, the user has to provide the information and you're going to collect it, right? So, if it is lying in the UI, on which page it is there? Is it present on PY work page, or is it present on some other clipboard page? Whatever page it is, just give page name dot the property name. So just feed the data into these variables. Now I'm going to give my data on PY work page. So let me map my PY work page in the pages and classes tab. So this is ABC hyphen, whatever is my class name. It's work dash etiquette back, and just give you page name py work page dot. Do I have a property for full name? I don't think I have. No. Let me create some properties for lawyer full name. Let me create one property. Just say create and close. Now the other one. And one more, the last one. Phone number, I'm just going to give it as integer. Okay, create and close. That's it. So I'm just going to give the data in the screen on PY work page, and it's going to be stored into this corresponding properties. And whenever I want to send an email, I can just use this email, or I can use this phone number, or I can use his full name and just communicate him about the case updates. Okay. Now you created a data transform. Where were we? We were here, right? We were trying to add a lawyer role here. So lawyer, and this guy is a person, and my new DT capture lawyer information. Now, so if you want this to be captured in the, see, if you want multiple participants for this role, means you have group of lawyers, okay? So you will have group of multiple people, okay, on the same role. If yes, select this. If not, leave it. Now, create participant automatically when the case starts. It means like whenever you create a case on the first screen, which means on the new hardness, do you want to collect the participant or the work party details? If yes, enable this. If not, leave it empty. Now, is it mandatory to have at least one work party with this role for your case? If it's mandatory, just enable this. If not, leave it. Now let's try creating it on the beginning of the case, because see, not all projects are going to capture the work party information at the beginning. Not always, right? You can't decide. Sometimes maybe, people may or may not have work, but maybe it's an optional thing. So I can't force everyone to give the participant details at the beginning, depending upon my project requirement. So now let's just try how it works if you say at the beginning. So I just said, yes, please capture the information at the beginning. I said done. I saved my changes. Okay. Now, if you go back and open the, it says it's still, let me refresh. Settings, and Participants, lawyer is missing. Lawyer, person, and my DT, and this. That's done. Save. Now, if you go and open the OOTB work party rule PY case management, the data which you have filled here should be present in the rule. Okay, whatever you have filled. Okay, party prompt is just a description. You can just now VOE means visible on entry. As I told you, immediately when you create a case on the first screen itself, it's going to ask you. Required means is it mandatory? Uh, Repeat means do you have multiple people with the same role name? Okay, the three check boxes which you saw in the pop-up window correspond to these three. Okay. Now let me create a case and see how this works. But now please make sure you disable this. Okay. Because this work party rule is going to come on the first screen, which is nothing but the create harness. So make sure in your PY start case you have this disabled. Even if you don't disable it, it's still going to come, but with an error on the screen. Let me create a new case. Yes, it's time to check the work party thing. Okay, and if you scroll down, this is the place where you see your parties. Now you can select any party and you can just add them. I would like to go with lawyer. So I'm just going to give some name. Just give some name, last name, email. Okay, and just fill the rest of the fields, whatever you want to fill. And just click on OK. Okay, so this guy is added as a work party. Now click on done. Now, if you scroll to the right bottom, you will see all the work parties listed out here. Okay, so this guy is here, the work party which I added just now. Now, how do you use it in your application? If you want to send an email to him, how do you use it? So let's say, for example, I want to send an email when my SLA expires. Okay, let me take one SLA rule. Refund SLA. Just go and say edit. And now you can say notified party. Party is nothing but a work party. And now your correspondence name, just in case if you have created any correspondence rule, which is nothing but the body of the email. I have some. Okay, I'll just go with those. What's your party role? It's lawyer. Do you have any subject? Just, temp email. And what all, just fill all the things. And that's it, save. That's it. Start testing. Just create a case and make sure your refund SLA goal time expires. Don't do anything. And then an email will be sent to this person. Okay, that's one way of using it. Let's take another way of using it. Suppose if you want to send an email from the workflow. If I want to send an email from the workflow, let me take any flow. And just in case, if I want to send an email, you can just use this smart shape. Send email. You can even select participant and you can select lawyer and then go ahead. That's it. Just give all the details, subject, body of the mail, and just submit. That's it. You're going to send the email to the work party. That's another way. And even in your activity, you can send the email. We're just calling the OTP activity send simple email and just passing the work party details. Okay. So these are the various ways you can use your work party to send emails. Now, what are the other ways to provide the work party details? So right now you're providing it at the beginning of the screen. What if I don't want at the beginning of the screen? I just want to take a chance whenever I want. Maybe you want to put it like an optional action here. Okay. So you have some optional actions, right? Maybe you want to do it something like this. And what you can do is you can just go to your workflow and go to the optional actions. There is a OTB flow action, add party details. Just configure this as an optional action. Why is this not coming? Let me check from the records explorer. Add party details. You can take add party or add party details, anything. You can just use this OOTB flow action in your flow as an optional action. Okay, here or here you can call it, and that's it. The screen will display. You can provide the party details, and it gets added to your case. And later on, you can use it anyway to send emails. That's another way of doing. So one is like you'd say visible on entry. Second one is use your OOTB flow action, okay, to add the party. And the third one is there is an OOTB activity, add work party details, and add work object party, I think. Add work object. Yes, this is the one. Add work object party. So you can call this anywhere in your activities. Okay. Suppose you have the details. Okay. Maybe let me take any activity. Create technical activity. Now what you have to do is just call the OOTB activity. Call space. Okay. Now it's going to ask you the name of the party. So the name of the party, suppose it's lawyer. Say lawyer. Party class, which class? It's data dash, party dash, person, and the data transform name. That's it. So when you give the data transform name, what happens? It's going to call this data transform, and as per this data transform, you are expected to have the values of full name, email, and phone number on PY work page, and from PY work page it will copy onto this and it will create the things. So please make sure you have a section or somewhere at a screen where you're going to give the lawyer details, and when you call this activity, automatically the data gets copied to this. Okay, so that's it. This is another way of adding a work party to your work object. After adding, it's quite simple. Just start sending correspondence. We not only use work parties for sending emails. Sometimes we even use them to assign some work. Okay, so that they can work on it. But most of the projects, we use work parties only to send some mail communication. And there are some projects where we also use them to assign some work, but maximum it's all about sending email communication. These are the three ways you can, configure it. It can be visible on entry, or it can be like an optional action, or it can be through an activity. You can even add your work party to your work object, and then you can use it to send emails. Okay. So that's it, guys. Thank you.